is no longer working for 30 grand a year as a college professor.
But when I started as a coach, even though I had a job as a professor, I remember having to put my grocery bills on my credit card because I didn't have enough money to buy my groceries at the end of the month, and I still became a coach.
Right, and you still became a coach. So you overcame your own objections, and when you start overcoming your own objections, you can help other people do the same thing, because you know the end result. Okay, so money. So let's say that somebody gives you a money objection. You have to stop and ask yourself, first of all, what can I have done to prevent this? And I'm going to tell you right now, the easiest way to prevent is to spend more time in step 2, which is asking questions, getting to understand their why, getting to understand what it is that drives them, getting to understand what they struggle with. Right? The more time you spend there, the less time you have to spend doing I don't know, all I know is. You start preventing it. The more time you spend working on yourself and overcoming your own objections, the less you're going to have to overcome other people's. So with the money objection, let's say somebody gives you the money objection, Barbie just gave us her testimonial. All of you can be in the field using that right now. All of you. If you just wrote down her testimonial, you have a weapon now to use out there in the field, so you can be out there and you can say, hey, I don't know. All I know is I saw this Barbie Decker chick and she couldn't even pay her grocery bills, but she still found a way, and her life has completely changed now. Right? And so, and I don't have a lot of money either, but I'm finding a way. And if you truly are sick of being depressed, I really think this stuff will help you. In fact, it's helping a lot of other people.
Start collecting stories, testimonials. Write them down, put them on your phone, and use them.
Right?
Yep.
So, money objections. Someone says, I'm just completely broke. Well, first of all, we might want to figure out why they're broke.
Right.
Right? Yeah. That's my first question. Well, why are you broke? So somebody says, man, I'm broke, man. I'm too broke for this. Why are you broke? Figure out why they're broke, because that might lead you to another solution that they need.
Right.
Right? So, why do you think you can't afford it? So what makes you think you can't afford it? Find out why. Because you can't yet start helping them. You can't untangle their mess until you even know what the mess is. Right? You guys get that? Until you know what the mess is. So spend some time asking questions. Why are they broke? What are they broke? And then learn to connect them to solutions for that. So once you find out why they're broke, once you find out why they think they can't afford it, the reality is this: either they sincerely can't afford it, or they can afford it, they just don't want to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because they haven't yet found a reason enough why. Because they still want to hold on to their Miller Lite and Wings at Frickers.
Right.
Right? Or their King of School Mint at the grocery store. Or they want to hold on to the habit of buying all of their new shoes when they go shopping because they like blingy stuff rather than health. Right? So until their health becomes important enough, they're not going to overcome it. But you have to get to their belief. So we handle money objections all the time. Barbie, because I know a lot of times, like with Danny Johnson, and so Barbie and I have done a lot of training through Danny Johnson, and she may not be for everybody, she happened to be for us. And so we've come to a lot of this understanding through her, and her scriptings. But so in her script, she says, so were you serious about wanting to get healthy, and you seriously can't afford it, or are you just afraid to hurt my feelings?
I use that all the time. I use that, we're going to get to it too, but with spouse objections. So is this the real reason, or you're just not that serious and you're just afraid to hurt my feelings? And it works.
It works.
Because
you let it be okay for them to be either.
You give them an out. So if you know what, this is not really for me. Okay, awesome. Great. Thanks.
So we'll talk about that. Like let's say that somebody gave you a time objection. Because we get that all the time, right? How many people in here have time objection, man? You got a family, you got a house, you got a job, you got a water park nearby that you want to go to. You got summertime on your hands. You know what? People have busy lives, right? And if they don't have busy lives, they're not probably living. So when you get a time objection, how would you handle something like that?
For me, I use testimonials, sometimes my own. I would say, I totally understand. When I first started coaching, I was still teaching, and so I would wake up a half an hour earlier and post and connect with my customers. And then at nighttime, I scheduled it, and I tell them about a calendar that I bought hour by hour. And so I would use from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. to coach. I use stories. Danielle Hinson, who's in Asylum too, I remember on the national call, she's a teacher, she left, she finally was able to leave her job as a teacher to coach full time. She said she was willing to get up at 4:30 in the morning and then go to sleep later so that she could get her coaching in. If you really want this, you're going to find a way. So I don't know, but if you really want this, you're going to find a way. Insert testimonial.
There you go, because Danielle Henson did the same thing. Danielle wanted it bad enough, right?
Start collecting stories.
And listen, if you validate and overcome, if you validate and you make it okay for them to have that excuse in the first place, say, dude, I totally understand that.
Totally understand.
I totally understand that, man. And in fact, I was super busy, man. I was running my, at the time when I signed up, I was still 230 pounds and like running the insurance agency and the president of the Rotary Club, right? And the people from Bellevue know this is true. And I'm on like 7 different volunteer boards around town. I just don't have the time for this. And you know what? After doing it now, after just making the choice, it's been the best thing that ever happened in my life. And I truly believe that it could help you do what it is that you're trying to do too. Because I've seen it work for so many people. Okay? So the reality is a lot of us can identify with their excuse. A lot of us can identify with their objection. Or we have people that we know. If I get a mom of 5 kids, I've got a woman on my team. Her name's Tina Osborne. She's a mother of 5. She's a military nurse. She works 12-hour shifts, but somehow she's managed to score like 80 Success Club points this year.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of you just overcame your own objection, didn't you? Just by me sharing a story with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Didn't you? Just in that instance. So Tom, we just gave you 3 stories on how to use objection handling for time. Spouse objections. You mentioned this. How many people have a spouse objection? Or did have a spouse objection, but have found a way to overcome it. Right? To make it work.
That one's a tough one, isn't it? Spouse. I got to talk to my spouse, or he doesn't really support, she doesn't really support what I'm doing.
So here's the thing. So I embrace that because I can understand that. Mm-hmm. I can understand that. I can understand that there might not be perfect harmony in their thinking and the directions that they want to take, right? And so I can understand that. And I said, well, great. So tell me a little bit about your spouse. Right? Tell me a little bit about it. What's your husband like? So let me ask you this. Do you think it would help if I got both of you on the phone and kind of just answered some of his questions for you? Right? Be the connector for them. Learn to be a connector. Write that down. Learn to be a connector. Learn to connect people to solutions. So their biggest fear might be bringing that up to their husband or to their wife. Their biggest fear might be that. So what you do is you connect them to a solution that helps them overcome that fear. And the other thing is this. You remain in control. You don't hand the control off to them because you're not being the facilitator. Go ahead. Let's get on the phone and we'll all talk about this. And maybe it'll work out. Maybe it won't. But who knows? We might as well try.
Actually, I have a tip. I was just listening to Danny Johnson this morning, and I'm always learning. We're always learning.
Yeah.
And she said with the spouses, it might help to ask, have you ever tried to present something, to an idea to your husband or your wife, and they immediately shoot bullet holes in it, right? Most people can relate. So why don't you let me, come in and be that person, the expert, because, you're pretty new at this. You're looking to get started. I mean, one objection from the husband or the wife, it's shot down. So allow me to be that connector.
Right.
And I found that super useful. Just, have you ever had this experience with your husband or wife? Yeah. And then be that person.
Yeah, totally, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you don't feel like you're an expert at it, you're more of an expert than that. Whether you realize this or not, after you leave here, you are now professionally trained in the art of objection handling.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're an objection handling expert.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Just because you got up and got here. Okay, so believe that. You know more about their objections than they do at that point. So spouse objections. And we also get the I don't like to sell objection, right? How many people get that one? I don't know, it sounds a little bit salesy to me. I'm going to tell you right now, the reason people are afraid of sales is because salespeople suck. Because salespeople don't do the stuff we're talking about. You know? Right?
When I became a coach, the night that I became a coach, I was on the phone with my sponsor, Kevin, and I said, you know, I don't like to sell. I'm not a salesperson. Don't ever talk to me about selling or making money because I'm not interested. I just want to share.
And we learned that in kindergarten, didn't we? Learn to share. Keep it simple. Simplify and multiply. That's what I talk about. You know, learn to share. I just want to share. You know, like actually, we're building a team of people that are just sharing this.
Yeah.
You know, we're not selling anything. Dude, I could totally understand that because I don't want to sell either. So when you say I could totally understand that, immediately you disarm them. They put their guns away, don't they? Right?
Yes.
What you do and how you respond either puts bullets in their gun or puts the gun in their holster.
Ooh, that's good.
Right? I just made that up right on the spot.
I like it.
That was an on-the-spot moment right there, Barb. Write that one down, honey. It remind me. What's that?
Repeat it.
I said. What the heck was it? It's on camera. It's on film. No, it was how you respond at that moment of crisis. Either puts bullets in their gun or puts their gun in their holster.
Love it.
You can either disarm them or arm them, depending on what you do. Right? So if you feel it getting a little bit confrontational, guess what? You probably didn't respond the right way. So rather than blaming them for it, you could learn to develop the skill set required in order to learn to disarm people and build bridges rather than walls. Which is what we're talking about today. So, I don't like to sell as a common objection. Another common objection is other products. And we face that, you know, especially, there's a lot of health products out there, right? Yep. You know, I mean, the local gym is a product. You know, there's all kinds of other workouts online or on TV that they can buy. There's all kinds of other, I could go into the local Circle K gas station and buy protein bars, right? And there's other products from network marketing companies. So we face this one all the time. And the reality is this, you know, so many times we want to attack. Well, attacking provokes conflict. Right? We're not on a mission to create more wars. We're not on a mission to attack anything. We're on a mission to disarm people so they're open to understanding them. So, yeah, I don't know about that. I can see why you might like that. But what I do know is, you know, the people that are using this stuff are getting off meds and have a lot more energy and actually have found. And the other thing is this, man. Stop selling products. Start selling what it does for them in their life, right?
Yes.
I mean, truthfully, like a lot of times, I don't even talk about the products. I talk about how incredible our team is. And even if you don't feel like you have a team, look around this room. You have a family of people that support you. You can say, you know what? I don't know. All I know is those protein bars don't come with this. All I know is those protein bars aren't working out on the Las Vegas Strip at 7 a.m. You know? I mean, so, does that make sense? The other thing is this. After you say it, ask a question. Does that make sense? You need to do this all the time. Does that make sense? Because once they say that it does, they're in agreement with you and you can now successfully take them to enrollment. They just gave you a closing sign. When you say, give them that, I don't know, all I know is this. Does that make sense? Yeah? Great. Why don't we get you enrolled? Get you started. All you have to do is bring them to agreement. You're the facilitator. Bring them to agreement. So other products. You know, and then when you're bringing them to agreement, you might want to have a plan on how to do that. How many people you get to enrollment and you get like a little bit like nervous and you're like, oh, I don't know how to handle this now, right? A lot of people. And so we've got a way for that. And Barbie is a master at this, so I'm going to let her take it.
Awesome. That was great. And everything that was awesome, but we're not done yet, so we don't need to applause yet. But everything that we've spoken about applies to both using the challenge script for the products and enrolling people in the challenge, as well as a closing script for the opportunity. So in my little section, we're going to discuss closing for the business opportunity, and we're going to present an actual closing script. So if you can advance to the next slide. I love that the man controls the remote.
Just tell me what to do, babe.
So,
I'm doing it. That's it.
you know, yesterday in the general session, we were talking, you've heard the word, I know it's decide, commit, succeed, right? That was kind of iffy the way I said it. I'm like, decide, commit, succeed. But something has happened at this summit, and what's the one word that keeps coming up? Commit, okay? That's belief. Once you know that you are going to make something happen, the rest doesn't matter. You're going to find a way. You don't need the roadmap, although we have the roadmap. This is it. Using the scripts, being plugged in. So, before we even introduce the 5 or 6 step script for closing, I want you to actually rate your own belief. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? Honestly, and be honest. Are you at a 10? Are you at a 5? If you're at a 5, you need to change that. When I became a coach, I grew up on welfare. I was super poor. I didn't believe that I could make money and help people. So I became a teacher. I was helping people, but I wasn't really making any money. I knew that I had to change that belief. And so I had been a coach for about 8 months, and I spoke to actually Mark Briggs. We were having a Skype session, and he said, Barbie, you guys know Mark Briggs? Really calm. And he was like, Barbie, I'm just a regular guy. Really kind of monotone voice. I'm just a regular guy. If I could do it, you could do it. And the sky parted. I saw the little birds sing. And I was like, I'm doing this. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And ever since that day, I just knew. Josh Spencer, who's my personally sponsored coach, he said when he left Summit with you, he went home and he put it on the board, Top Coach 2010. He believed, and he said he saw it. When we had our team meeting the other day, he says he envisions a stadium full of team members. And he looked straight in the audience. He's like, I see it. And through his vision, I saw it. You need to believe. If you get on the phone or you're on Facebook even, because it's exactly like you say, the way you're showing up in real life is the way you're showing up on Twitter, the way you're showing up on Facebook. So if you don't believe, why would anyone trust you and sign up with you? So believe in the opportunity. You talked about posture, your body, the way you're coming across. When I get ready to get on the phone to close someone, that means to enroll them, to get them to sign up to be a coach, I check my posture. And I have this attitude, and actually it was Robert Hudgens. Yeah, I'm dropping names, but I'm dropping names because I've gleaned things from everybody. Like I'm always learning, and he said, don't beg. And to me, I had been a coach for a year, and I was like, don't beg. I think for a while, I was begging. I had this posture of like,
how many people feel like they're beggars
sometimes? Be honest.
Be honest.
Right?
I was a beggar at first.
I was a beggar too. And then Robert
went that.
Yeah, Robert. Right. This is a privilege to be a BeachBody coach. It is a privilege. You want people that are going to build an organization with you, that are going to go and change lives. You don't need to beg. As soon as that entered my system, everything changed. So when I get on the phone, and sometimes I have I'm in my PJs, I work from home now, and my posture is, I'm going to do this with or without you. And it's not a bad attitude, it's, I'm going to do this with or without you. This is amazing what I'm doing. And I'm going to see if you would make a good part of my team. That's my attitude.
And you know what's amazing about that? That comes down to commit, right? How committed, she's saying, I'm committed to this for the long run, so whether you do that, I'm climbing this mountain, you can come or not. You can come or not, right? I got a guy, Luke, here. I've known him since he was 3, okay? We went to preschool together. He watched my transformation for 3 years, watched my life changing, and finally last October, after 3 friggin' years, and I didn't disappear, he shows up. And now his life is changing, and he's changing other lives.
Yep.
Your commitment, here's the thing, it's not about getting an immediate yes. It's about you staying around long enough that the seeds that you planted a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago start harvesting at some point.
Eventually they will sprout.
Eventually they will. So,
click please.
Awesome. Absolutely.
There's power.
You just got me.
If you can click, awesome. Okay, so we've been talking about the script. I'm going to introduce you to the script. That's 20% of it. That's like the last, that's the last thing that you do. You need, and you were just actually talking about that. Before you actually get to that point where you tell them or you ask them, hey, you know what, I thought of you. Do you want to hear about the BeachBody Challenge? Or, I think you'd make a great coach. Do you want to hear about this? You need, and I'm using Danny Johnson's term, to form. You need to find out who they are. And how do you do that? You ask questions. Who are you? And sometimes I really ask the question. It happened to me yesterday. Somebody found me on Facebook. He's like, wait, what's this coaching thing, And I'm like, I'm in Vegas right now. I'll get back to you tomorrow. But I'm like, who are you? Tell me everything. That's all I needed to ask. And I got this long email. Okay? Sometimes that's all you need to ask. But we get so hungry. And raise your hand if you've been guilty of this. That somebody mentions needing to get in shape or Shakeology or something about coaching, and you're like, there's a business opportunity, there's P90X, and then here's a link, and here's where you could purchase, and then are you guilty of that? I have been guilty of that too. And so you need to slow down, and you need to be genuinely interested in people. Get to know about their family. If they have 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, and they have a job, chances are that time is going to be an issue. So the script that we're going to talk about in a few minutes is about prevention of objections. You want to see, I'm going to try this because I never say this. Write this down. You are going to see if your opportunity can fill a need that they have. How will you know if this business is right for them? How will you know if this challenge or Shakeology is right for them if you don't know anything about them? If you just jump down their throat with a link, the product, the business. You were going to say?
When you spend time informing, here's the thing. 95% of people suck because they don't ask anybody questions about the other person.
Me.
It's about me. Everybody's favorite topic is me, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you become the person that slows down and asks questions surrounding their family, surrounding their occupation, surrounding what they do for fun or recreation, right? If you just take time to learn about them, you've already elevated yourself into this upper friendship level of people.
Yes.
People they trust. You've elevated their trust. You now become a trusted friend rather than a slicky salesperson.
Yes.
Right? How many people maybe you've had a conversation with one of the top people in the network, maybe even me or Barbie, and we've slowed down and asked you some questions about your life. Look at the hands up, right? When we're in conversation with you, it's more about you than it is about us. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals.
Be interested.
Okay? And generally be interested, because when you're interested, you start discovering these things. They're
goals, needs, desires, and strengths. So I actually have an example on Facebook of me connecting with someone, being interested in them. What I saw happening with my team, and I'm glad that I saw this, is because we were able to correct it. We have the 5-step challenge script. And so what some coaches were doing because of lack of experience was they were going straight into the script, straight into, hey, there's this BeachBody challenge, 90-day challenge. Do you want to hear more about it? Well, what was happening? The emails were being deleted. They were being ignored. And we were able to troubleshoot what was the problem. that no one was connecting. Get to know people. Be genuinely interested in them. People love to talk about themselves. This is not about you. It's about them. And so really quickly...
Can I give you one resource? John Maxwell has an audio or a book. It's called Everybody Speaks, Few Connect. And you want to get that.
What's the name again?
John Maxwell. Okay, I believe it's called Everybody Speaks, Few People Connect.
Yep.
Is that what it is? Sure.
It's great.
I just bought the audio and I've been listening to it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is everything we're talking about. So get that and study that.
Yep. So really quickly, I wrote to, her name's Julie, and I just said, hey, it's great to hear from you, and you don't know how happy it makes me. It makes me to hear that you are on fire and excited. If you're excited about BeachBody, it means you're excited about what's happening to your body and the changes that go along with it. Wow. Okay, girl, tell me why you want to coach. I'll send you a video to watch in a bit, but first I want to hear more about you and what makes you curious about it. Question. I got like a 4-page thing, which I'm not going to read, but just the first few lines. What makes me interested? Hey, lady, what makes you interested in being a coach? This is a great question. First, I love capital letters, Shakeology, and how it makes me feel. I want to share this with everyone. And I do. I'm loving the workouts. I've been committed to this program, and it's addictive. It took being serious to see serious results. She went on for like 4 pages, okay? The equivalent of 4 pages. And the point is that I was able, through me asking that simple question, I was able to see what her strengths are, what her goals are, what her desires are. And so when I show her the business opportunity video, before we even get on the phone, I know how this opportunity can fit into what she needs and what she wants and what she's good at. Okay? Next slide, please. So we're going to discuss the closing script. Your job as a coach is not to explain the business opportunity. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that, you know, every time you meet someone, you're going to do a business presentation. And I do have coaches that do it. And I'm like, don't be the presentation. Your team may have a webinar. That's great. Send them to that. You may do a webinar. That's great if you're at that point in your business. But we have the Introducing Team Beachbody video. You want to make sure that they have already seen the presentation, whether you're sending people to a webinar, a live presentation, or they're watching a video. Once you get on the phone to close, to enroll them as a coach, you are done presenting. You are not presenting how it's a binary system and how it's $14.95 a month and Shakeology and na. Do you get that? You're done. You're getting on the phone. Most of the work has been done previously. You have formed them. You have found out about their family, occupation, recreation. The message is the video that you're sending to them. And then once you get on the phone, and right before, you know, when I set up my appointment, I say, make sure that you have reviewed the video before we get on the phone, okay? So what happens if you get on the phone, you make your appointment, and they tell you that they haven't watched the video? I would reschedule, because it's not your job to do the presentation, okay? Right? So, okay, actually go back one step for a second. Yeah. Okay, so the phone rings, I set up an appointment, it's 10 o'clock, I get on the phone, I check my posture, I check my belief, I'm very casual. Chances are that your prospect is going to be nervous, right? I know that when I became a coach, I was so terrified of getting involved in a pyramid scheme and of being scammed. So I was already like ready to attack, you know? And so just check yourself and just be casual and be, I love what you said. What did you say? Be you. Be you.
Make it about them.
But make it about them.
And I can't take credit for that. That was great.
That was awesome. So I get on the phone and I'm like, who's the... Hey, Chica. How's it going? Really? No,
Make it about that, right? Totally.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean like Chica, like lady. I meant like I actually know someone that's named Chica. So, I really meant that. Hey, Chica, but I do talk like that. Anyway, so I was like, hey, Chica, how's it going? She's like, oh, hey, Barbie, oh my God, this is so nice to talk to you. I was like, how was your weekend? Oh, good, you know. Then they tell me about their weekend. And, for 1 or 2 minutes, a lot of times it's the first time that we've actually spoken. So I'm like, oh, cool. So then I find a way to get in there and say, hey, okay, so let's get started. Did you get a chance to review the video that I sent you? Yes, because I told them to do it. Okay, awesome. Next slide. So always, hey, how's it going?
So step one is confirm that they've watched what they're supposed to do. They've done their homework.
Break the ice. Hey, how's it going? Don't go in there like a stick in the mud. Okay, so now we're going to talk about this business opportunity to see if this is right for you, because they're going to be like, ugh.
Write this down. This is something Danny Johnson says. Relationship first, business follows. And if you start every call or every interaction with people, and you put the relationship first and the business second, it gives you a natural path. So step one is relationship first. How's it going?
Yep.
How's your day been?
How's it going? Did you get a chance to review that information? Awesome. So what did you like about what you saw? You guys, this script is to prevent objections. I cannot stress that enough. You're not there to answer questions about the compensation plan. You're not there to answer objections. You're preventing objections. My closing rate using this script, I would say, is 90%. Okay? 90%.
When you have a plan,
this is the plan,
and you follow it, and you master it, and you get good at it, that's what happens.
That's what happens, and you're going to get better and better at it, and you're going to learn from your mistakes. And I still make mistakes. Sometimes I'm like, I shouldn't have said that word.
And the thing is this script on the phone to enroll people is after all of the prevention methods took place.
We've already done everything.
Everything. You're not getting the objection.
Right. So what did you like about what you saw? When they tell you the video's long, anywhere from 15 to 28 minutes, they're going to tell you, different people are going to tell you different things according to what is important to them. I love that, you get to connect and you get to go on all these trips. Somebody else might say, man, I love that you get to help people and that you really, you get to make money. Like some people get to stay home with their kids. So then the next slide is, tell me more about that. So whatever it is that they're saying, I love that, you get to connect with other people. Yeah, tell me more about that. You know why? And then that little simple thing, go back for a second, tell me more about that, gets people talking. So if I say, tell me more about that, people love to talk about themselves. The guy's going to tell me that he's stuck in a cubicle all the time, that he never gets to connect with people. Well, BeachBody, hello, talk about community, okay? Again, I'm able to see how the business opportunity can fit into his need, his goals, his desires, his strengths, or her strengths, okay? Tell me more about that. People are going to speak. The next question, and this is actually, so do you want to make a little bit or a lot of money? With Danny Johnson, actually, she says that 90% of the time, people say that they want to make a lot of money. That hasn't been my experience. My experience has been, and I don't believe anybody, my experience has been that people say like, well, I just want to make a little bit of money, okay? I think maybe it's the nature of what we do. We're truly in the business of helping people, but so I keep digging, and I keep asking questions. And we all have big dreams. And so by me asking, I still ask that question. So do you want to make a little bit or a lot of money? Well, just to start, I want to make a little bit of money,
And be okay with that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Listen, 95% of our network, they did a study of 3,500 coaches. The average coach wanted to make $50 a month above their expense. On average, out of 3,500 coaches in the network. Right? I mean, we have 85,000 coaches. There's 6,000 that registered and 5,000 that showed up for this or whatever it is, right? You guys are not the average. You're not the average. So
I didn't want to make money when I started. I was against making money.
And so if you're cool with that, say, and I would just simply say, oh yeah, dude, we can totally help you do that.
Yeah.
We can totally help you do that.
We can totally help you do that, but then I ask more questions to get to what they really want in life. Mm-hmm. So what would you do, if you had a little bit of extra money? If you had a little bit more time, and I get to their reasons. I really get to the deep reasons of what they really want for themselves. And people want, it's not cars, because I was telling someone that I bought a fancy watch. I'm like, that's not what I show. Like, I went on this vacation, I bought a fancy watch. No. People want time. People want time with their children, their dogs, whatever it is. To be able to take their mom on vacation, whatever. And so I get to that. And so then the next slide is so key for the closing, and it's like when I know that I'm going to be like, sign on the dotted line. I'm going to say, okay, so then we got to that, sorry. So what for? What would you do with that money? And then the next slide is, so at your current job, how long would it take you to be able to, whatever it is that they just said, pay off your mortgage, spend more, be a stay-at-home mom, spend more time with your kids, doing what you're doing right now, how long would it take you to achieve that? Seriously, like 99% of the time, 99% of the time
is never.
Never.
The average person will never get to their dream.
That is
doing what they're doing.
And with us, you have an opportunity to get to that dream. And this is where I close, you guys. When they tell me never, because in all the previous steps, they have been selling themselves. They have been doing the talking. They have been telling me why they would be an awesome coach, what they liked about the opportunity, what is important to them. And so when I get to this point and they tell me I'll never get to pay off my mortgage, spend time with my kids, watch my kids grow up, be like, well, girl, because I deal with a lot of women. Well, girl, welcome to the team. I would love to have you be on board. Are you near a computer? Yeah, all right, let's get you signed up. Cool, Barbie, thank you. I'm so excited. That's it. 90% of the time they sign at the dotted line. So it's amazing. And you know what? 10% of the time they don't, and they do later. And then sometimes, you know, people are, it's just not for them, and that's okay. This is a skill that you're going to get better and better at. We have just a few minutes, so I'm going to...
No, that's true. So let me ask you guys a question. I mean, we've got like 1,500 people in this room, and I'm trying to see all the people in the back.
It's beautiful.
I hope you got something out of it. How many of you would like to have like a recording of this so you can show your team or people? So that tells me that you got something out of it. Barbie and I both thank you, but we want to give you some takeaways, and we're going to make sure, I know that our team specifically is recording, we'll make sure that gets to you somehow. Just maybe watch us on Facebook or somewhere.
We'll
make sure you're connected. I think that they're recording it, and it will be in the back office as well. All right, so well, now listen, we don't want you just to leave without knowing what it is you're supposed to do. What you oh, that was nice. That was nice doesn't cut it. It doesn't. That was nice, and now I have to do these things. Does. So the first thing you need to do is identify your needed areas of improvement. You need to identify where you can get better, and that's going to take honesty within yourself. Right? Get honest with how you respond to people. Get honest with how they react to you and what you're doing and where you can get better. The second thing is practice the skills, man. Be willing to go out there and practice. Practice them with your kids. You know, when your kids are giving you an objection, practice these with them. Practice them with your husband. Practice them with your wife. Practice them with the person as you're walking down the hall. Okay, but practice. Listen, you know, being willing to practice. And then number 3 is be willing to fail. You've got to take risks. Nobody got to the top of the mountain without taking a risk. You've got to be willing to do that. Take a risk. Be willing to fail. Implement the skills. Oh, and the 4th thing is use other coaches as a sounding board. Discuss it with other coaches. We discuss objections on our team page all the time, don't we? It's become part of our culture within our team that when you're facing objections out there, bring it back home to the team, man. And let us know what the experience was so we can all learn together. So openly discuss this with your team or with other people. It doesn't have to be your team. Jimmy and I and Barbie and I are not on the same team, but we are friends and we talk about this stuff all the time. The last thing is this. Be confident that you, after sitting through this hour and 15 minutes, are well more prepared than anybody else that's out there because you are